The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is paid for by Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, who is solely responsible for its content. Portions transcribed.
All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with co-host Patrick Devaney, my husband and fellow realtor. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
You're doing well?
Yes, I'm doing well. My son corrected me. He said, Dad, you're doing well. Superman does good. I was like, okay, thank you, Patrick.
All right. I'm doing well also.
Okay.
All right. We have with us Hank Lerner, who is Pennsylvania Association of Realtors Chief Legal Officer, and Bill Lublin, 2024 President-elect of the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning. Good morning.
Thanks for being here with us. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where we talk real estate. We have a full-time real estate office with many relentless realtors who've been guiding, assisting, and advising clients in real estate matters for over 50 years.
During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. Or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you go to jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab, get a live view of Dunmore Corners. And this week on the show, be ready to be educated, because there was a guy in New York, his name was Cy Sims, and he used to advertise, an educated consumer is our best customer. And today we're going to be educating our consumers.
Yes, we needed really to address this very important topic. Check us out on social media. We're just about everywhere. View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly jruddy.com, where we also have available all the podcasts that we feature the radio show on. Okay. Gentlemen, Hank Lerner, Pennsylvania Association of Realtors Chief Legal Officer, Bill Lublin, 2024 President-elect of Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. We're going to refer to it as PAR from this point on. Can I have a little bit of background on both of you? How about Hank starts, please?
Sure. So I am the Chief Legal Officer of the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. As you said, Jackie, I've been here for close to 24 years in a variety of positions within the association. One of the main things that we do that affects you, your colleagues in the real estate industry, and a lot of the consumers that you deal with, is that we create standardized legal forms. So all those many-page forms with small print that folks fill out to buy and sell houses are the creation, in many cases, of PAR. So we work on those to help our consumers and our members have a positive experience in the market. And also we run a legal hotline so that we can help our members understand the laws, ethics, forms, rules, things like that go into making a successful real estate transaction.
That legal hotline phone number is on speed dial for me.
Indeed.
Yes. Bill, how about you?
My name is Bill Lublin, and I'm the CEO of Century 21 Advantage Gold. We serve 8 counties in 2 states in the Philadelphia and South Jersey area. I'm also, as you'd mentioned, President-elect for the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors this year. I've spent about 45 years in MLS governance as a volunteer leader, and last year was NAR's MLS and data management liaison.
Bill, you're a busy guy. You have 9 offices, and you're a fellow Century 21 office. And I admire you very much and all that you do for not only PAR, but also the Century 21 system. And you're always one of the top offices, and I give you a lot of credit for that. I admire you tremendously. I admire you tremendously. You're welcome. Okay, gentlemen, last week we really talked about the NAR lawsuits and settlement and where they came from and why they happened. So this week I want to talk about moving forward. And
it was also how it was misrepresented in the media. Okay. I had to get that in there.
Okay, well, yeah, there was some misinformation out there. But looking to the future, what are the changes that not only the real estate industry and realtors and sellers and buyers and consumers of real estate, how is it going to affect us all, please?
So we talked last week about my anger that we had to settle because I didn't feel we were wrong, but my understanding that it was a good business decision. And in terms of the settlement, there were really two basic changes. The offer of cooperative compensation was not eliminated, but we will no longer be allowed to publish the compensation offered by a seller in the MLS, nor will we be allowed to do any clever workarounds aggregating it as if it were still in the MLS. The other change is that some form of agreement needs to be signed by a buyer before we show them a home. And that will be, there seems to be a lot of confusion in our industry about that. That will not be because of the settlement a state regulation, but it will be an MLS rule.
And these changes are going to take effect in the real estate industry in practice probably around late summer, give or take. And so, we're going to see these changes. And people often call the office and they just want to see a home. So I'm not sure. And before this settlement and all the news broke about what happened here, we would often ask for pre-approvals. There's some questions we ask consumers who call our office. Are you working with another realtor? Are you pre-approved, or will you be paying cash? Now, another question is going to be, we're going to address this form agreement, whether it's a buyer's agency contract, a non-representation contract. There's going to be forms that people are going to have to understand that we have to get signed and squared away before they can see a home. Correct?
Well, yeah, and there are going to be some differences in our practices. One of the problems pre-settlement was that agents would often rely on the MLS in order to get compensation when they worked with a buyer. So they didn't really learn to express their value proposition to buyers as we train our agents to express their value proposition to sellers. Remember, we've been representing sellers for over 100 years, but we've only been representing buyers for about 35 years. So now agents are going to have to get better at explaining the value of a buyer representation about what they bring to the table and do the same sort of thing that agents do when they list homes. Explain what their services are, discuss and negotiate compensation, and sign some form of agreement to memorialize the understanding that the buyer and the licensee have.
Okay, and that seems like a lot to digest as someone who just wants to see a house.
Yeah, I just want to see the house. Why do I got to sign all of these forms? That's what we get.
Consumer notice being one of them.
Absolutely.
Right. So
yeah, and I will tell you, I looking at this from the different perspective, because again, I've been around real estate for 20 plus years, but I view things from the lawyer perspective. I sometimes wonder, how many of these consumers would show up at an attorney's office and say, I don't want to talk about fees. I just want to sue somebody. Right? Or go to the doctors and say, I'd prefer not to give you my insurance card. I just need you to treat me. Because I think consumers naturally see the value to the representation of an attorney when they go talk to an attorney. They see the value of the medical profession when they talk to a medical professional, that they're going to need to get paid for their work. Therefore, we should make sure we take care of that. And as Bill said, a lot of this is really making sure that agents are equipped, perhaps to better explain to consumers the value of the real estate professional, that you're not somebody who just drives around and opens doors for people for fun. There is a representation capacity. There is work that you can do that could benefit them. And if they don't want that work, at least have the opportunity to explain to them what value is that they're passing up and make sure that they understand what they are or are not getting from you. So I think that conversation is really going to be what's important, is making sure that the agents are, in fact, able to show their professionalism and show their value so that the consumers can make an informed decision and not just pop into a house here or there without actually understanding what they're getting into.
And yet, Bill, you may have read this article, the same article I'm going to quote right now. Tim Herr National Association of Realtors 2024 Realtor Party Community Engagement Liaison came out with an article. 90% of home buyers have historically opted to work with a real estate agent or broker. And that 90% is of home buyers, not just first-time home buyers, but 90% of home buyers. And that's a significant percentage of people who chose to work with a real estate professional. It's not for somebody that has never done it before, especially a first-time home buyer, but certainly people that have bought and sold. I know a lot of our agents, and I'm sure your brokerage as well, have repeat business that continually use and feel that there's tremendous value in using a real estate professional.
Absolutely. I think it was 96% of the home buyers surveyed in the National Association of Realtors home buyer and home seller profile said that they would use an agent again. It's our learning to be better, as Hank said, at articulating the value that we bring and what we do, as we do with sellers. And just as I believe a consumer is better served by doing business with a realtor than a licensee who is not a realtor, I believe that our agents will learn better. Now, I'll give you one example. The National Association of Realtors has made available the ABR course, the Accredited Buyer Representation course,
yes,
to its members online, free right now.
Some of our
any one of your agents, right? Any one of your agents, any realtor member in Pennsylvania can go to nar.realtor, look for the ABR course, and take it, and complete the course to increase their skills in working with buyers and articulating their value. And I believe in order to use the designation in the future, they also need to have one elective course, and then they have the certification, whether it's real estate negotiating expert or ePro, which I rewrote twice, or or the green certification. Any of those will allow you to have that certification and utilize ABR in your advertising.
Yes, at home with diversity as well.
Right, which is, again, we're the realtor organization, both PAR, NAR, and the local associations have done more for the professional development of real estate licensees than any organization could possibly do. And I think we're just going to need to lean into that development. And, there may be other business models that come up that handle the very sophisticated investor. Maybe, I've seen all kinds of suggestions in terms of business models. But for most consumers, the system we had worked well. And we'll see in the future whether they'll decide they want to try 18 different things or they're going to have the same flavor of ice cream they enjoyed last summer.
Let me tell you something. I buy cars. I'm a car guy. I would rather buy a car from a dealer because there is some responsibility there. There's the experience. Then if I go and I buy it from Joe Blow up the block, who's going to try and get over on me, I would absolutely prefer to go to a dealer. I might have to. I prefer going to a dealer than going out there and doing it on my own.
No, I agree, obviously, but I will also tell you, I think it's really interesting. I had a conversation recently with a licensee who was not a Realtor member who was having a problem with a consumer that was similar to a problem one of my consumers had with a local Realtor. My consumer went to the local association, made an ethics complaint, and in a very short period of time they felt validated, heard, and their issue resolved. In his case, the consumer was chasing him to pursue litigation and making a license complaint for him. And the man really had no place to go to resolve the issue with the consumer.
Nowhere to turn. That's an awful feeling.
Right. I mean, I think a consumer is best served using a licensee, or is better served using a licensee, but is best served using a member of their local state and the National Association of Realtors, because we have the accountability of the Code of Ethics, because we have this tremendous standard forms library, because we have a hotline service that provides information for our members. But I think we need to lean into using these things. The more engaged real estate agents are with their association, the better they are at their job, and the better the service they provide for the consumer, which is, after all, our end goal.
Amen. Bill Lublin, 2024 President-elect of the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors, and Hank Lerner, Pennsylvania Association of Realtors Chief Legal Officer. Both are on the phone with us today, calling off-site, and we thank them for coming in and giving us valuable insight into the National Association of Realtors lawsuit settlement that hit us at the beginning of the year.
That hit us right between the eyes.
Hit us right between the eyes. Pat, would you like to review a listing?
Yes. We have a building lot for sale at 507 12th Avenue in Scranton for only $45,000. This 81 by 55 lot is ready for you to build your new home. This lot is cleared and level and was previously a 3-family home. The property is around the corner from West Scranton High School and 1 block to the elementary school. This is perfect for investors and builders who want to bring their designs to life. That's an 81 by 55 lot at 507 12th Avenue in Scranton for $45,000, and that's listed by James Caceres of our office.
Thank you, Pat. We'd like to thank our sponsor this week, 1031 Corp. They help real estate investors defer capital gains when selling and reinvesting in business use or investment property. 1031 Corp is the middleman you need to help you complete a 1031 exchange. And over the 3 decades, they have mastered how to keep the exchange process easy for you. Their exchange experts will educate you on 1031 exchanges, review your situation, and walk you through the entire process. If you own an investment or business property, whether it is residential or commercial, contact 1031 Corp. to learn how you can exchange into a property that works better for you while deferring the capital gains and depreciation recapture so you can keep your hard-earned equity working in your next property. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 The Talker. Are you ready to make your next move in the world of real estate? Look no further than Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, your trusted partner in buying and selling homes. If you're a homeowner looking to sell, Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate will ensure you get the best possible price in today's competitive market. And if you're in the market to buy your dream home, Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate will help you find the perfect place to call your own.
Congratulations.
We've adopted the popular saying, an educated consumer is our best customer. That's why since 2010, we've hosted the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate Saturdays at 11 a.m., Sundays at 11:30 a.m. on 94.3 The Talker. Visit jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com or call 570-344-6724. Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, where dreams find their address. We're back on the air with more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with my husband, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney.
And we're going back to school. We're being educated by these.
This is really good stuff we need to know.
Oh, absolutely.
And so do the
this is essential. Absolutely.
And our audience needs to listen too, because there's a lot of misinformation flying around out there. So I just feel like it's necessary that we talk about this. We have with us Bill Lublin, 2024 President-elect of Pennsylvania Association of Realtors, and Hank Lerner, Pennsylvania Association of Realtors Chief Legal Officer, both calling in from an undisclosed
secure location.
Yes.
And they're underground bunkers.
Okay. Gentlemen, Hank, I want to ask you, so the first half of the show, Bill talked to us about moving forward from this National Association of Realtors lawsuit settlement, what changes everyone can expect from realtors and sellers and buyers and consumers of real estate. How about you? What changes do we have to look forward to, please?
Yeah, so a little bit more sort of on the inside baseball side of things is that, as I mentioned at the top, we at PAR publish a number of real estate forms that are, well, not used by everybody, definitely an industry standard across most of Pennsylvania. So I think that the folks who listen who are real estate licensees and realtors, and maybe your consumers who do transactions a little bit more often may notice that some of these forms are going to start changing. Fees, of course, have always been negotiable. Our forms have always had blanks that have to be filled in by buyers and sellers when they're talking about what fees are going to be charged in a particular transaction. But the explanation around those fees, how those blanks are organized, the types of options that are available, are just going to become a little bit more flexible, a little bit more obvious maybe. And we're really going to be trying to spur our members to have these conversations that we talked about and make sure that they are doing a better job of starting those conversations and expressing their value to the transaction. How that sort of works itself through the transaction, then we're going to be helping our members to understand that and have those conversations, providing them the resources, the education, the background to understand how to do this and what the rules actually are going to mean to them. So for some consumers, it may not mean any change at all. It may be that the way that they would have done a sale 6 months ago turns out for them to be the best way to do that same type of sale 6 months in the future. So very little will sort of change practically speaking. It may be that somebody decides to take advantage of a little bit different business model than maybe they would have in the past, in which case there's just going to be a different way that they fill out the forms and a different way that they negotiate that with their broker. So could be a lot of change, could be virtually no change. Our role, though, is making sure that our members are going to be well-placed to understand it and explain it to the clients so that everybody can make informed, intelligent decisions about how they want to be represented in the transaction.
Well, you and your team of attorneys do a tremendous job of not only, helping us understand the forms, but to be able to protect the consumers, sellers, and buyers in a transaction. And we have, like Bill mentioned in the first show, probably the best forms in the country, and it's because of you and your insight and knowledge and experience. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. I and the legal team here at PAR appreciate that.
And Bill, what would you like to add to what Hank just said?
Look, I think with all of the nonsense that is being printed by people that have more opinions than they do information, and a lot of speculation,
yes.
Chicken Little notwithstanding, I don't think that the sky is falling.
Well, a lot of realtors feel that way. And actually, I've read, and I'm sure you have too, it's whirling around out there, that real estate agents are at a risk of becoming obsolete. This is the end of the real estate industry. This is the end to realtors, and that the prices of homes are now going to be slashed, and and consumers do not have to pay realtors anymore. I mean, it's the farthest from the truth. All of that.
Look, consumers never had to pay realtors if they wanted to accept less for their homes or sell their homes with a greater risk of litigation or fall through. Anybody can sell their own property, but to get the best price, best terms with the least risk of litigation, the least risk of fall through on terms and price that work for the seller, they want an agent. And for buyers, to negotiate the best terms for themselves in a time frame that works for them, to find financing, to experience as much information as possible, and have the safest transaction they can make, they want representation as well. In terms of home prices being impacted by real estate commissions, that's just silly. As I know, as Hank knows, as everyone should know, that the real estate market is impacted by supply and demand. If the supply is less than the demand, prices go up. If the supply is greater than the demand, prices stabilize or go down. So I don't think the commission kerfuffle is going to at all impact value. I think consumers like you or I, when they need service, are going to look for good, well-educated service providers, and that's our members at the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors, who have the greatest knowledge of the product, the greatest knowledge of the transaction, and the greatest knowledge of the community in which all of our members live and work, sell, and list.
Agreed.
So
couldn't agree more.
We're going away so quick.
Well, as you're speaking, I'm thinking about my taxes. So I have two companies. I have investment properties. we file jointly, Pat and I, and we have Schedule C, K1. My tax return is probably as big as a phone book, or the way that they used to be. I couldn't imagine, and people do their own taxes all the time. I couldn't imagine doing my own taxes, but could I? Sure. They'd be all wrong. The IRS would be after me, but could I do my own taxes? Sure, I could. I know people that do, but I don't. I go to a professional. I know somebody that knows the tax laws, that is a CPA, that is a professional, that is schooled, that studied it. And he guides me, he advises me, and that's what I need when it comes to my tax returns.
100%. 100%. That's why we have Hank and the legal team at PAR. For our members to use the hotline for the standard forms that, as you mentioned, are probably among the best in the country. These things are important. So, what's the old joke? You can have it fast, you can have it cheap, or you can have it good. Pick 2 out of 3.
Right. Okay, so the bottom line is consumers will continue to be able to rely on professionals, realtors, whether they're selling a house or buying a house, and they should. Especially if they're a first-time home buyer, as many are. They shouldn't go it alone. There are so many aspects of the real estate transaction that they need to have somebody holding their hand. Inspections, appraisals, going to the bank, lenders, title work, title search, all the different things that come up during the course of buying a house. That's not even when they're looking for the house, but when they're in the transaction. So it's really important. And I have to think about sellers too, because in this market, the sellers are still getting a great amount for their home, great prices for their homes, because we're seeing a lot of multiple offer situations in this neck of the woods. I'm sure you are also, Bill.
Absolutely. And negotiating those, whether you're a buyer or a seller, really is best served by having a professional to assist you through that.
There's so many aspects to an offer, too, when you're negotiating. And if you have 5 offers on the table, the type of financing, how much deposit to put down, how soon the closing is, what type of lender, what type of loan, is there a seller's assist, a seller's concession that goes along with it? Yes, the price might be higher than the competing cash offer, but how much money is going to be going back to the buyer to help them pay their closing costs? And that's not easily done if somebody doesn't do it every day. They may overlook something very important. And as you mentioned, the seller's disclosure, which if somebody's selling their own home, they're supposed to provide a seller's disclosure. But I could almost guarantee that a lot of times they don't even realize they need a seller's disclosure.
I can tell you most of the expert witness work I've done is about lawsuits in which the seller disclosure form or an inspection is the case of the disagreement between the parties.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's an awful lot out there. My son bought a home not last year, but the year before. He lives on the West Coast. We'd never have wanted him to buy a home without having an agent.
Absolutely.
Even if I get the calls at night, at least I have somebody who knows the local municipalities, the state and local regulations, all of the implications for them to purchase. And we got them an agent. They got them a house. They are just real happy with it.
Fantastic.
And that's what we want.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Bill Lublin, 2024 President-elect of Pennsylvania Association of Realtors, and Hank Lerner, Pennsylvania Association of Realtors Chief Legal Officer. Thank you for 2 weeks in a row of fabulous discussion. I really appreciate both of you and all the information you provided to us and our listeners.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome, Pat.
Yes, we have a 3-bedroom brick Cape Cod style home at 178 East Overbrook Road in Shavertown for $319,000. This home has been updated with a new kitchen and bath, a wood-burning fireplace, hardwood floors. It's got a new water heater and an updated heating system. There's off-street parking and a built-in garage. This home is in move-in condition, and it is for residential and commercial use, so it could be used as a business. It's owned either way. That's a 3-bedroom home suitable for commercial or residential at 178 East Overbrook Road in Shavertown for $319,000, and that's listed by Sam Shelter of our office.
Thank you, Pat. Don't forget to tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to listen to more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 The Talker.